Alright, everyone, it's pretty funny. I was talking about the YouTubers union bullshit. Now I've got to talk about Bernie Sanders' feelings on unions. It looks like, based on, link in the description, the video that was posted, it appears that Bernie Sanders, it's ballsy, admittedly. I will say that. And I mean, unions be damned, but he came out, was talking to union members, and he was asked, well, under your universal health care plan, wouldn't unions lose their ability to bargain? Essentially, unions would lose their capability of negotiating with regards to health care. Bernie Sanders says, oh yeah, absolutely you would. Wonderful answer, Bernie. At least you're being honest. And it's very, very ballsy for someone who claims to be a social democrat or a democratic socialist or whatever dumb moniker you're using this week. It's very ballsy for you to talk down to the union members. The problem is that's half your support. These are potential Trump voters in 2020. If they get pissed off at the Dem nominee, Trump is going to coast to re-election. He'll probably win Minnesota and he'll hold the rest of the Rust Belt. I don't know what Bernie Sanders is thinking. Are you fucking high? Don't answer that question. He's gotta be. No, the thing for you to do at that particular moment was be a politician and beat around the bush. Well, we're still looking into exactly what we're going to do with our plan. But the important thing to remember is everybody will have healthcare coverage. It will be adequate healthcare coverage. And we're going to get the evil corporations. We're going to stick it to the men, the one percenters. That's what he should have done. For once in his godforsaken life, Bernie Sanders should have lied and acted like a slimy politician. I guess at the very least, he has the chutzpah to not do that. So Bernie Sanders talking down to a union member saying, yeah, absolutely, you're going to lose your ability to negotiate. Think of what this means. And this is unique to Bernie Sanders' healthcare overhaul idea, his reform so-called. This is what Sanders wants to do. He wants to completely eliminate private healthcare. He's open about this fact. He does not care if this disenfranchises people with decent plans who have had the same plan and doctor and shit for 20 years. He doesn't fucking give a shit. He doesn't care. You lose that. You will be put into Medicaid. Everybody will. If you're a person of means, you will pay higher taxes. And here's the other part that the one part in which he's being slimy on is rambling about how the program will be solvent. It won't cost anything additional if X, Y, and Z. If we raise the business tax rate by, 4 or 5 points. If we raise the individual income tax on the highest bracket to, 50 or 60%, you will have to drag everyone else's taxes up proportionally. In order to not fuck the lower class with this, you'll have to directly subsidize them, which means the rates will go even higher for the middle class. Somebody like me, currently paying a tax rate in the 20 percentile range, between 20 and 30% or something. With the 15% self-employment tax, yeah, I get hammered. I will then, instead of that, I'll be paying 35, 40%. I'll be paying the same tax rate as people currently pay, making millions of dollars. No, thank you. Fuck you. That's what I would have to say to Bernie Sanders. And now he's telling the union workers to fuck off? Yes, you'll lose your bargaining ability. Don't worry. The government knows how to better bargain for you in your individual situation in your region than you do. The problem with Bernie Sanders-style socialism, his federalized socialist bullshit, is that it's not like Vermont. Vermont is more homogenous than the country as a whole. Economically, socially, demographically, economically, and even then there are problems. Vermont exists under a system that's kind of a step from Bernie Sanders' social democracy, so-called. We're similar in some ways. We've got more subsidies on things, more welfare. We're more blue. We're more of a liberal hippie-trippy state. Even we have problems. They tried to pass universal health care in this state, and Shumlin, a liberal Democrat governor, with a liberal Democrat supermajority legislature being goaded on by 100,000 progressives within the state, couldn't make the numbers add up, even with Jonathan Gruber helping him. He failed, and he got kicked out because the self-righteous, twat fucking pink-haired social justice warriors told him he wouldn't get reelected. We refuse to back you because you told us the truth, is basically what they told Peter Shumlin. If Vermont can't make it work, with our particular advantages as a tourist state, as one with a population that already absorbs a high tax rate, largely without even grumbling somehow, other than here in Rutland and up in the Northeast Kingdom. By the way, people think Vermont is so hippie-trippy. Look, Rutland is the swing state region of Vermont. It's almost dead set 50-50. Rutland went for Trump narrowly, actually, in the last election, I believe. Northeast Kingdom's full of Republicans. It's basically like northern Maine. It's like a smaller, slightly less swampy version of northern Maine, with a lot less people, actually, than a place like Portland. Here's the thing. Bernie Sanders' healthcare plan will rob you of any individual agency whatsoever. You will get whatever the government goddamn wants to give you. You'll get the coverage that they tell you that you need and deserve. You'll pay the rate that they tell you. They'll tell the pharmaceutical companies what drugs will be priced at, which means that a lot of those won't even be available. They'll say, okay, we won't make them. You can go ahead and get them from India or something. We're not going to manufacture them because you're telling us we can't profit. Government doesn't care. And then if the government does get ass blasted, they'll just send more taxpayer money to the pharma companies to lower the price of those goods and services. It'll be fucking shit show. It won't work. And then you've got other Democrats like Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren pretending that they'll have a fusion model. Yeah, we want socialist healthcare, but we'll allow you to keep your private plans. Yeah, but you'll have to pay a lot of extra taxes. You're not going to avoid having to pay into the system just because you've already got your own private health care, because the people with private health care are the haves. People in the middle class and above. So you're going to get fucked either way on any of the Democrats' health care plans. Their plans just mean you're paying taxes into a system you're not even privy to. It's arguably even worse. At least Sanders is telling you, no, you can't bargain. No, you can't choose. Fuck you. The government knows best. That's basically what it means. That's what socialism ultimately means. Government knows best. Government is your daddy. You need daddy to tell you what to do with your life because you're just a miscreant. You're too fucking stupid to do it on your own. That's what socialism really means. That's what big government in general means. So no thanks, Bernie. I see through the snake oil. I'm actually one of your constituents. You don't do a very good job representing my interests, but I guess you try. At the very least, people think you're charming and it gives Vermont more tourist money. People say, oh, that's Bernie Sanders' neighborhood. That's all they know about it. We've got leaves and maple syrup and skiing and Bernie Sanders. Wow. You should hold more rallies in Vermont so people in outlying areas will come and see you. Bernie Sanders, we should make him do this. We should make him go through a monthly fucking monkey show where we put him up on stage and let out-of-staters come, and then they go and get ice cream or whatever, and they add to the state's economy. Oh, we could pay for universal health care if we do that. We'll just have Bernie Sanders, and when he dies, we'll just make his corpse animatronic and make a museum. They're going to do that, too. You know that there's going to be like a fucking Bernie Sanders museum. Oh, my goodness. I can't wait. As soon as they build it, I'm going to go there, and I'll make sure to show you all the cringe so that you don't have to come and spend your money, your very capitalistic money, in looking at it. I bet it won't be free for the poor, by the way. Are they going to check your income at the door and adjust pricing appropriately? Well, you're a millionaire. Yeah, they'll have an animatronic Bernie Sanders robot at the front with his voice modulated in. They'll take voice samples off YouTube and they'll run it through the deep fakes shit that they have now. And it'll tell you like, oh, well, you made $1 million last year. You have to pay $200 for your ticket. But your child doesn't make any money, so that's okay. And you get a write-off on some of the costs because you got solar panels. That's how it'll work. It'd be fucking hilarious. That's exactly what we should do. In fact, if Bernie Sanders fans don't do it, Bernie Sanders detractors should do it. Make it deliberately cringy and weird. And of course, it'll be a joke. You're not actually charging people $100. No, it'll be capitalistic. In fact, just make it totally hippie-trippy. Be like, just leave drugs in the tip jar. It's Vermont. Leave your roach in there, and the one employee there that gets minimum wage, of course. Fucking smoke the do. Man, that'd be so funny. Yeah, Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, who needs the union vote desperately in order, if he gets the nomination, he's going to have to wine and dine the unions real hard. He's telling him to fuck off, basically. No, you don't get to bargain. No, you don't get to choose anything. Government will do that for you. Fucking deal with it, miscreant. Yeah, now you know how it's like to be fucked by the man sideways. That's about all. Peace out.